Here at the Hard Rock, there are several hidden tours. Let's go on one right now.
Probably the biggest Hard Rock in the world. We're one of the largest restaurants ever. And also, we have over 1,700 pieces of rock and roll memorabilia in just this cafe by itself. But because we're the biggest Hard Rock, this is no ordinary tour. Instead of us walking around here and me pointing at stuff, that's boring. Anybody can come here and do that. So we are heading behind the scenes where only the celebrities are allowed to go when they're here with us. So as cool as all of this is, you're not going to see it today. So follow me.
We're going where copywritten music isn't played. Nice piece of vinyl.
And welcome to our VIP Beatles hallway. Are you a Beatles fan?
Not really.
Well, then the tour's over.
Okay, bye.
I can't work in a hostile environment like this.
I said I didn't dislike them, they're just not my thing.
Too much negativity, Dave. Like I said, this is a peace and love environment. Because not only are we the biggest Hard Rock in the world, we have the most Beatles memorabilia here out of any Hard Rock in the entire world. And I'll be honest, it is really the only reason why I work here. Let's just say I've had the nickname the Beatle Nut since I was about 7 years old. But really, what other restaurant in the world can you go to and say, oh, I've just had a cheeseburger and got to see a BOAC air flight menu from 1964 that's signed by all 4 Beatles? No,
Can't think of any.
Only here. Can't get that at Burger King, I can tell you that right now.
But I want it my way.
They claim you can have it your way, they're a bunch of liars.
No. Those marketing people. Like how it's picking up his face on the face detection.
But as we head around this way,
I would like to know the story behind this.
what's that?
This famous album cover, if that was just something they shot along the way to do something else, or if that was a pre-planned.
So the story with the cover is that Abbey Road was not the original name of the album. It was supposed to be called Everest. And the concept of the cover was that the Beatles wanted to get in a helicopter, fly all the way to the top of Mount Everest, and have a photo shoot at the very top of the mountain. And basically all the best things about the Beatles happened because they were lazy. And so instead of doing that, they're like, you just want to take a walk across the street? They go, okay. So that whole photo shoot took about a whole whopping 10 minutes, and then they went back in the studio and kept recording. And that is Abbey Road. And that of course is why they gave it that title.
Huh. Well,
it gets better.
Cool.
Over here on your left, we have an original John Lennon drawing.
Nice.
That was done when John and Yoko were doing their famous Bed-ins for Peace, protesting against the Vietnam War. John would take these big pieces of poster board and scribble something really quick, hang it up on the wall of the hotel they were in, and then he would invite the press to come in. And this was basically, you know, the genius of John Lennon. He figured, well, if all these people are going to come in here and take my photo and put it in their newspaper, if I put the word peace behind me, that means I just got them to publish the word peace for nothing. So there you have it, peace and love from John and Yoko. But pretty much the rest of the hallway here is decorated with lots of great pictures and posters, some even in other languages. This creepy yellow guy over here on the right is actually from Poland, and it's the movie poster for the Beatles' second film, Help, from 1965.
Oh. Well, it's a lot more letters in that language to spell out the same word, huh?
And then this little guy right over here is actually pretty special this time of year because it's on one of the most iconic album covers of all time. This little garden gnome appears on the cover of Sgt. Pepper. Next time you take a look at the bottom right-hand corner next to George Harrison's leg. I promise you'll find him. And of course, Sgt. Pepper this June will be celebrating its 50th birthday. And of course, later on, it's signed here by all 4 Beatles.
Nice. I think for some reason I did know that.
But Dave, as we come down to the end of the hallway, we stumble across door 71, which of course takes us in our VIP lounge. So anytime that we have celebrities on property, shows going on next door in the venue, this is where we hide everybody. So you are my rock star today. We're hanging out in here too because there's absolutely no better way than to come through the Beatles hallway than to enter the John Lennon room. Now the great thing about the room are the pieces that are in here, of course at one point in time or another belonged to the Lennon family. Back over here we actually have one of John's famous white linen suits. But my personal all-time favorite, basically if I could take anything in this building, it'd be this. It's John Lennon's couch. John had this in his home in Surrey, England from 1965 to 1969. And this used to sit in his little sunroom, which was, kind of like his man cave. So whether he was, hanging out and reading the paper or eating a bowl of cornflakes, because, that was his favorite food. And, whether he was writing, this is where it all happened. The photo we have behind it is probably the most famous photo of John sitting in it. It's been published in many different books and magazines over the years. But of course, we can just go online, Google John Lennon couch, and you can find a million more of, John hanging out here, Yoko, Julian Lennon as a little boy, and I even found one picture of George Harrison hanging out in it too. So, pretty much famous spots. Moral of the story there.
Yep. And that's the super, super exclusive club upstairs?
Not quite. We'll head
Oh.
there in a bit. It's just attached, that's all.
Ah,
And then this guy right here, no, it's not John's piano, but it's still really incredible because as you can see when you head up close, that all 52 white keys are signed by some of the most legendary piano players of all time. Hard Rock got this piano back in 1991 with a local charity called Give Kids the World. And so what they did is they took off the keys, mailed them out to each artist. They were then signed, put back on, and then it was sold at auction. And Hard Rock bought it for around $40,000. And all of that went to Give Kids the World. So one of our great examples of Hard Rock and its philanthropy and all that kind of fun stuff.
all right.
Yep, and then pretty much the rest of the room is decorated with gold and platinum records, pictures of John throughout his life, and more pieces of John's artwork. And this is really where all of the fancy schmancy Hard Rock parties happen. The Remember Love there was done at the Bed In for Peace in Montreal, where John and Yoko sang the song Give Peace a Chance for the very first time. Believe it or not, it's actually the most expensive piece in this room.
I know that Apple, the computer company and Apple Records have a little bit of a history.
Oh, yes, they did. Because back when, Steve Jobs, was like, oh, the company's going to be called Apple, they, of course, asked Apple Records if that was okay, and they said it was fine as long as you stayed, dabbling in computers and didn't do anything with music. And as soon as the iPod came out, it was a big old controversy. That's why, it was 2009 or 2010, when the Beatles catalog finally went on iTunes. And now you can stream it anywhere.
I'm sure at the time they said, stay out of the music business. And like, we make computers. Why would we be in the music business? Sure.
Yeah.
Then many years later, they had a music store.
white on white layout. So we used the same color scheme to make this a room that John himself would want to hang out in.
Ah, so it's not a replica of his apartment.
Not at all.
So that's one of those rumors that are out there. And these are all great posters, but it's too dark. Sorry. And here's something I've never been to before.
Welcome to Hard Rock Live. The venue here holds over 3,000 people. That's of course when we pack everybody down on the floor like sardines. When we have shows that are a bit more intimate, whether it be comedy shows or anything a bit fancier, we put the chairs down on the floor. Cuts that to around 1,800. So it's a really cool, intimate place to come and see some great entertainment. The very first person to ever play on our stage for our grand opening in 1999 was Sir Elton John. From there, it kind of just goes downhill. Haha. No. But you
It's a tough
name
act to
it,
follow.
they've probably been here before. Except, if you're playing venues to like 80,000 people, then you're probably not going to come here. But you know what? Sometimes that does happen. Elton has played here twice, both for private events. The Killers have played here. Who else? Imagine Dragons, they're currently selling out stadiums, and they came and played here for the Pulse benefit we had last year.
This room is kind of cool.
And here we are in the attic.
Lots of signatures.
Yeah, and this really is just an attic. A lot of the stuff that's in here, we really don't know what it is, and we don't know where it came from. The other bits are things that corporate didn't really want hanging around in the memorabilia warehouse. And so when it kind of, gets retired, things are too big, they're broken, you can't really do anything with it, it all ends up here.
Cool.
And of course, everyone who performs here are welcome to sign the walls. Some famous, some not. But usually this is where we come and we store tables and chairs and things and, other miscellaneous stuff. A lot of the things too are from old Hard Rocks that have closed over the years.
How many have closed? They seem to stay open pretty well.
No, there are quite a few of them that
Oh,
that have shut down over the years. Peter Criss missing an arm,
sure.
can't be put out on the showroom floor. It ends up hanging out here. Actually, from the band Disturbed, the lead singer would come out on stage at the beginning of the show in that little guide. I hear with every tour it's a different torture device. I'm not sure though, I've never seen them.
I thought the whole tour was a torture device. There's some more things to show you.
Lots of great concert posters in our collection.
Yeah.
And here we are on the main floor. It's a lot different when it's, covered in people.
Yes.
But I'm so used to seeing it empty that it's weird for me when we have shows and it's,
Oh, yeah. Some crowd warmers up there. Mostly park hands, a few movers. These look like LED cannons, maybe.
And then we have our little wall of fame. All the photos you see here on the walls were taken right here in the building. So these are just some of the folks who've played here with us.
Yes. walk through every day. Look at my life and watch you run away from all of the pain that's been handed to me.